Welcome to the Dent Report, episode 27. I am Andy Ruther, and this is my co-host, Matty Goldberg.
What's going on? Number 27, baby. We're almost to 3-0.
We're doing it, Matty.
It's amazing.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah. We've had some interesting shows. I guess when we get to 50, we can do look back and what's the best and the worst moments.
Nah, we got to get more than that.
To 100?
50. Come on, Goldberg.
100, we'll get a cake. We'll get a big cake from Carvel.
I'll pop out of a cake and I'll dance for you.
Yeah.
And I'll have Bryce do it.
Oh man, he's like my new. I love him. He got this dumb tattoo though. Sorry, Bryson, but he got this whole the whole, the shoulder, everything.
Why didn't you say that to his face when he was on our show?
He just got it.
But he already had a tattoo when he was here.
He had a tattoo, but now it's just covered.
Yeah.
So Bryson, I don't know, man. I love you. We're gonna hang out again, but I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
Well,
Don't hate me.
You and I both don't feel the tats. I'm not a big fan.
I have a shitty tattoo, and I regret it, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all good.
That's a game changer for me in the dating scene, for the record.
Oh, yeah. That's why when I did that whole combine thing, Riley Reid, it's like her bad Asian tribal tattoos kill your boner.
Well, it doesn't kill my boner necessarily, but settling down, it
Yeah.
might be an issue for me.
Girls that have sleeves, I don't get.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't get, but girls, I really don't get. The whole sleeves.
Look, I'm for you doing your own thing.
Yeah.
But I agree. I definitely get guys more than girls.
Sure. Yep.
Just expressing myself.
You gotta express yourself.
The only thing that I say is, and I talked about this last episode,
Yeah.
me 3 years ago is a completely different person. So what I liked to put on my body 3 years ago
You never know.
is going to fucking change.
My tattoo, I thought it was so cool when I got it, and now I'm hiding it like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna show it.
Well,
this
it is
episode.
weird. You're a Jewish guy with a cross.
Yeah. It's a Celtic knot.
It's not a Celtic knot. You have a cross.
It could be a swastika.
You have a cross, bro.
I already thought it was a swastika.
That's funny.
Yeah.
A self-hating
But
Jew.
when I got it, I thought it was so cool, and now I'm I don't want to take my shirt off just for the fact that I have this lame tattoo.
You're really that embarrassed?
It's a little when we were at the Super Bowl party. I was when people were asking me about it, I'm oh, because they're like, "What the fuck is on your shoulder?"
Who said that to you?
Nobody bad, but it's just oh, I didn't know you have a tattoo, and you're embarrassed because I hate it.
You're that embarrassed about it?
I'm not that embarrassed, but I regret it. If I could go back, I wouldn't do it. And I passed out.
You passed out, that's right, when you got the tattoo.
Yeah, because I didn't eat, and I don't feel pain on my left side. Because I'm I'll get it on my left side because I don't feel pain. And I'm 10 minutes in, I'm this is easy, man. Whoever says tattoos are hard are pussies. And then all of a sudden I got really lightheaded, and I was just I need to stop for a sec. And then I woke up, and the whole place was staring at me.
I know you've talked about it on here.
Yeah.
That's such an amazing story, though.
Yeah.
That's straight out of the Goldberg playbook.
Yeah.
Well, Goldberg, I want to talk about something
that's
been bothering me.
Yeah, you're fired up right now.
I'm not fired up. I think we need to talk about this whole term white privilege.
Yep.
Because you see it everywhere.
Sure.
You now see it to the point
It's in our vernacular.
that colleges are teaching. George Washington University hosted a seminar, or is hosting a seminar, on combating Christian privilege in America.
Ugh.
According to the event description, students in a 90-minute training session will learn about ways American Christians receive things they don't deserve and are not worthy of getting, such as how do we acknowledge that Christians receive unmerited perks from institutions and systems all over the country. So we have a public university.
But I don't understand this. It's such a contradiction because GW is a school with,
Is that a public university? I don't know
would
if it's public or
imagine.
private.
My cousin actually went there. TJ Miller went there. It's a very good college. Yinka Truth or Dare went there.
That's right.
But it's a very good, it's a very smart college. And I'm sure that the funny thing about it is they've probably gotten large donations from white people who have gone there. So what's keeping them afloat is probably massive donations from white Christians.
Well, there's that, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
And there's also the irony of how many people got a job because they were not white, that they were singling out because they wanted to fill a quota.
Yeah, well, that's a whole new thing nowadays.
But that's not new.
Yeah.
And by the way, and I'm not taking a stance on that. I'm just saying, for this to read, for them to say unmerited. Well, you could say somebody got a job because they were a minority, or because they were a female, or because they were gay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm all for diversity. I'm just saying this weird time we live in where we use terms like Christian privilege and white privilege.
It's bizarre because, like, for instance, there's that movie coming out about the Kennedys and the whole thing in Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
And obviously probably Ted Kennedy should have gone to jail, for murder or whatever. He was drunk and whatever happened, he got out probably because he's a Kennedy, and yes, he was privileged. Yet the Democrats, I remember when that happened because he was going to run for president, they gave him like a 20-minute standing ovation. So it's of course, like, if you're this or that in this world, you're privileged, but that's just how the world works.
Well, no, look, this term is stupid.
Absolutely.
It's a dumb. This is my problem with the term. I'm not just saying this because I'm a white guy.
Yeah.
Did I grow up having advantages? Yes, I am aware of that. See, that's the thing. Did I grow up having things certain people didn't have? Yes. But that's not always because of my skin.
Yeah.
That's because of a financial situation.
Sure.
The term white privilege is stupid. It's not a race thing. It's not a gender thing.
It's a money thing.
It is a money thing.
And that's what people don't get.
And that's what people don't get. If you're black and your dad is has $10 million, you grew up with privilege. With more privilege than the white kid who grew up in the Appalachian Mountains who's white trash.
The thing is, everybody has a story, and everybody has come from pain, and everybody has come from some sort of struggle in their life, whatever race they are. And
yeah,
it's like unfair to like single out like, well, you've had it easier. There's certain perks that like
yes,
white people will get. Of course, when they're driving, it's probably like with the cops, obviously.
Well, just in general,
there's
yes.
gonna be things. But the life of struggle is so hard for everybody.
But let me address that by saying, do I have advantages of being a straight white male? Yes. You'd agree, right?
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
I'm not taking that away.
Yeah.
Do I have advantages?
Yep.
Yes, I have advantages. I am fully aware of that. But once again, I think we need to acknowledge this term privilege is stupid. It is a financial privilege. I don't care whether your race, gender, sexuality, you have privilege based on your financial situation. So if you grew up poor and white, you really don't have any privilege. And the kid who grew up, who's Hispanic, who's wealthy, he has a better privilege than that kid because of his financial situation. I just don't understand why this is so difficult for people to understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to shout out my favorite band, The Replacements. And they have a book that came out about them called Trouble Boys. It's a great book. And their story is they're white kids from Minneapolis, and the guitar player was molested by his father, who's the guitarist and the bassist are brothers, and he was molested by his stepdad. That's the dad of the bass. I don't know if I'm making sense. The point is they've had an awful childhood, and they're just like.
Your point is they didn't have white privilege.
No, like they've had the guitar player's dead from drugs, but he also had the worst upbringing you could have. Like where at like 5 years old he was left outside, so like he didn't have any sort of privilege. He was just like a white dude that had a terrible upbringing. Where a lot of course, white people have terrible upbringings, and everybody has a struggle. So it's hard to be like, well, you've had it. You're of course you're a white guy, so you've had it easier. Like I had a brain tumor. I was 20 years old, and that was my struggle. My childhood was really fucked up that I'll get into someday, but I don't want to get into it now because it's fucked up. So it's like we've all had our struggles. So it's like you it's hard to like just like make it that easy. We're like, oh, you're a Christian or you're white, you have this privilege. Everybody has a fucked up story.
It is the definition
of life.
No, this is what I'm saying. The people who are teaching this, again, it's this whole contradictory system of saying, hey, I'm going to be open to everyone, but you're not open to everyone because you're trying to put people in a box. This is what I hate. I don't like that you're putting everyone in a box.
Yeah.
It's no different than me being like, well, all black people are lazy. That's the same thing as saying white privilege. It doesn't exist with every white person. And dude, they're teaching this at a university. This is what's so scary. This is a public university. I don't know if I think it's public. I'm assuming it's public. You're teaching this at a public university.
Well, it's a major college in like a major city where there's so much politics and stuff going on.
Taxpayer dollars.
But I'm telling you,
are funding this.
They're getting donations from successful people that went to GW who I guarantee, because it's a rich, fancy school, probably the majority of their donations are from white people.
And people who literally did come from white privilege.
And they got privilege.
Yes.
So it's like you're completely contradicting yourself in the sense of like if you're going to teach that, well, guess what? I got an idea. Don't take donations from rich white people.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure every college, every rich high school, you go there, they're like hitting you up for donations. And I'm sure, they've gotten tons of grants and whatever from like really rich white people.
You make a great point.
So it's like, don't take it. If you're going to be that tough in your stance and you're going to teach a class like that, which really sucks because it's unfair to a lot of people who've had really tough lives. It's just not a good example to set of like what our society needs to be.
Well,
like
look,
we don't
dude,
need to just get mad at people because they're successful. It goes even to like, and I know I always bring Hollywood. It's like we're mad at George Lucas for being a white guy, who created Star Wars. When they're like, why hasn't a minority directed a Star Wars or something? It's like, George Lucas is a genius who created it. Like, why are you mad at him because he's a white dude? He entertained millions of people, and now you're mad at him because he's white? It doesn't help us. And again, and like, I'm for everybody having their story told. Everybody needs their story told. I'm for more like black films. I'm for more like Hispanic films, whatever. Like, just get your story out, but you don't have to like be like, oh, this doesn't really matter because it's about white people and their story doesn't matter because they have privilege. Everybody has a fucking fucked up story.
But it's just a dumb term.
Everybody.
Again, this whole term, white privilege. Donald Trump grew up with white privilege, without a doubt.
Because his dad was a fucking millionaire, whatever.
But I don't know if that's white privilege. That's my point.
It's economics.
He grew up with a financial privilege.
They used to say
just like LeBron James' kids are growing up with a financial privilege.
They used to say that about Grant Hill.
Because his dad was a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, his dad went to Yale, and
yes.
He was, and they always like Jalen Rose will always be like, we didn't get him because he grew up with like money and stuff, and he didn't go through stuff like we did. And again, that's like an economics thing.
That's the problem. It's not a race. Exactly. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. It's not a race thing.
And I get like there's the struggle for so many people is like intense and insane, and like, we'll never understand it. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of white farmers who just are like working their ass off to make your life better.
My mom grew up on a farm.
Yeah. Like they're working 12-hour days. There's no privilege there. To like make our lives better.
Well, look. I think I can take a step back. Take my mom. She's the youngest of 11.
Yeah.
Grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. All
Kentucky.
my uncles worked the farm.
Yeah.
My mom, how they ate, literally would hold chickens down. My grandma would cut off the heads of chickens.
Yeah.
Like, so she grew up.
They're not living any glamorous life.
No. Now, granted, did my mom not have to deal with racism
No.
in the 50s and 60s
Yeah.
and all the awful things that
Yep.
people of color had to do with? Yes. So you could say, so she was privileged in that regard. Sure. But to, again, label all these things.
The other word is mansplain.
Mansplain?
Is the same thing. Because, like, a girl will always be like, I don't need to be mansplained by you. You're like, wait, I'm just giving you my opinion, and I happen to have a dick. I'm not trying to act like I know anything more than you. It's just like I have an opinion, but I'm a man. So,
Yeah.
So, like, what is that? Like, and it's always things like whenever I see that, and it's a lot on Twitter, the guy is never, like, trying to be aggressive. He's just, like, asking a question or, like, giving his opinion. And all of a sudden, he's mansplaining.
Yeah.
You know? It's just really their words to shit on things and just people.
But,
and
Matty, the irony is, again, the definition of the word liberal is open-minded, but you're actually closing your mind to someone based on their race, on their gender.
and a lot of these
You're the one. If you say things like that, you're actually limiting yourself.
and I guarantee this was set up by like a really liberal white dude or a white woman. Like I guarantee this was set up by like the most liberal white person that has this weird guilt that will write a tweet like like
It was set up by the Multicultural Student Services Center at George Washington University.
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
We're in a weird
silly.
spot, though. We're in
Yeah.
a weird spot in our history because you can't have it both ways. One, Matty brought up a great point. Okay, you got issues with you're going to hold these classes or hold these seminars,
Yeah.
then don't take any donations from any white people ever again.
Yeah.
You got to be transparent, and you can't be a hypocrite.
But they can't be. They'll never will be. It's just like they would never really take a stand.
It's called George Washington University
Well, they should change the name.
because
'Cause
he had slaves.
Yeah. Yep.
Then if you really care about the history and the struggle, you shouldn't attend George Washington University.
Yeah, it's just silly.
Dude, when's it going to end, though? That's all I'm saying. We need to acknowledge our history, and we need to learn from it.
I think you said everything's kind of going back to what it was, and I didn't believe it, but I think it is. I think when there's stories like this, there's stories like how college kids were triggered by Steve Martin's King Tut routine, which is like so laughable, and then like one college you're not allowed to say man or woman. I don't know, something as dumb as that. Like those were like trigger words or something. I forget what the words were. But we're now like these stories are now becoming laughable. Like they're now like, oh my God, this is just ridiculous. Where maybe like 6 months or a year ago, we were taking this shit more serious.
Well, they are and they aren't.
Yeah.
I saw this story that a city, of course it's out here in California, wants to remove a statue of William McKinley. Now, this is the first time.
And what did William McKinley do?
Well, this is the first time a president statue wants to be removed. Obviously recently they've removed
Yeah.
statues of Confederate
Of course,
soldiers
yeah,
or Jefferson Davis, the
Yeah.
Confederate president,
Yeah.
Confederacy president.
Sure.
But this is the first time they want to remove a statue of a president. He's an 8.5-foot bronze statue, because of.
Like how many times have you walked by a statue and not given a rat's ass about it?
Same for these people. So here's William McKinley's thing. They want to remove it because of all the slaughter that he did to Native Americans.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. Then remove them all. That's what I'm saying. Then take down the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
Then take down, the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. Take down everything who's ever done anything bad because it's all of them.
Yeah.
It's all of them.
Yep. I mean, we've, as much as we act like, the country sucks, we've progressed so much. I mean, we came here as complete disgusting savages. We've evolved a lot. I mean, obviously we slaughtered the Indians. We've had slaves. Our history is really awful and dark, but we've done our best to try to evolve and be a melting pot. And
There's no other place
yeah,
still in the world I'll argue anyone with this till the day I die. There's no other place still in the world where you can come as an immigrant and make it.
Yeah, you can succeed.
You can do it in other countries. I'll argue anyone with this. You can do it in any other country. Look at so many famous immigrants who came here and have become successful.
And I'm all for that too. I hate seeing like when, the whole deported thing stuff. I'm not a fan
I agree
of that.
too.
I'm all for bring everybody. You're tired. You're hungry. Come here. Take a shot at like doing something awesome. Yeah, I remember being in New York City a few years ago. I met a gay guy from like the Middle East, like Syria or something. And I thought he was gonna, cause he was like kind of like he seemed like super like that liberal type that I thought was just gonna like shit on the country. And I'm like, what do you think of America? He's like, I fucking love it. He's like, he lives in New York City. He's having a blast.
Because you know why? You can't even be openly gay in the Middle East.
He said like his head was on a stick. So he's like, I fucking love America. And I loved hearing that.
But that's the problem now. There's no perspective. There's zero perspective of these students holding these seminars on campuses. You think it's bad here? It's 1,000 times worse than other places. That doesn't mean that we can't change the bad things here. That doesn't mean that. It just means have some goddamn perspective.
And like there's shit in every place, every country you go to. There's scabs, there's band-aids, there's wounds.
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing is perfect anywhere. There's dark history everywhere. It's like England, like any black soccer player, they throw bananas on the, that happens every game. It's disgusting. There's dark things in England. There's dark things everywhere. So it's like we're in a fucked up place. It's just like be a decent human being and then stop worrying about bullshit to try to make other people feel like shit.
It's dividing. It's again, everybody wants to divide, and they want to say you versus me, and them versus us.
Exactly.
Why are you dividing?
And like, why do you care? Like, if some everyone everybody has a different story. Like, why do you care that like some white dude went to Yale because his grandpa went to Yale and his dad? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, what do you care? Like, why? So much you're worried so much about that situation, like help, like just go and help, need help, and stop worrying about people that don't need help. You're basically like making an issue of something. It's just like, all right, the system is like that, that's the way we are, it sucks a little, but it is life. And then like, let's go and help people who need help.
Well, again, it's just zero perspective. You can use the term Christian privilege, but this is a fact. If I go into Saudi Arabia or some of those other countries as a Christian, you think I'm having privilege?
No.
Just put it in perspective.
Yeah.
The actual opposite is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I am going to be maybe someone who could be targeted for a hate crime for being a Christian.
And that's
just have some goddamn perspective again.
Yeah, I think this country is so
they're clueless.
It's also become, it's like you have to think a certain PC way completely, or else you are you're fucked. Like, you're not part of us, and we're gonna take you down. I mean,
it's me against you.
Yeah, I mean, I use Roseanne, and I know this might be old news when this comes out, but like, she has a few things to say because she doesn't really understand the transgender thing, and she's made a few comments, and because of that, it's like, or she likes Trump. It's like, well, she needs to be destroyed. Like, you can't watch her, or you're this, or if you like her, you're this, or let's like try to boycott her. And it's like, no, she's just somebody that has an opinion.
But that's the definition of fascism. This is what I'm saying. The irony of the political sphere now is they want to label Trump and Trump supporters fascist.
Yeah.
But to completely eliminate their thought and their free speech is fascism.
Absolutely.
It's like these people don't understand what fascism is. Hey, I don't want Ann Coulter or Ben Shapiro speaking on my campus. Well, then you're actually a fascist because you're eliminating free speech and discussion, and that's what we need to have. It's no different than, I had some girl pop up again on Bumble.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're a Trump supporter, swipe left.
Yeah.
Why? Because you don't want to engage in a discussion why someone voted for him?
or you don't understand that because you wrote that, you only make the Trump supporters stronger. Like we were talking about Roseanne. It's my opinion that like her ratings ballooned because all these people were like, "Don't watch it," and then it was just like the Trump thing again.
That's what you do. You love hate watching.
No, I didn't. No, I'm not hate watching it.
No,
I'm
but
indifferent.
you hate watch things though.
I do. Yeah, you're right. On the other side, for sure. Like the Oscars, I hate watched a little.
Yeah.
But like in this case, it was like something where like, yeah, it's cool that she's back. We'll see what happens. But then it was like, boycott her. She's terrible. This. She likes Trump. Blah blah blah. So all these Trump people are like, fuck yeah, we're gonna watch. And then the ratings were like skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't you get that your fucking mouths of like trying to like tell people what's right and what's wrong only empowers what you hate more? Like, haven't you realized that? Like, by you making a big stink about Roseanne only made her ratings 5 million times higher. Like, don't you, like, it's just so weird, the world of, like, the idea of, like, whatever, like, white privilege or anything. It's like a lot of people that are white, too, like, who succeeded, they probably worked really hard. And it's like, like, we can use, like, George Lucas or, like here's an example, which I found so ridiculous. Jon Favreau got a big job.
Jon Favreau.
Favreau, sorry.
So he directed a bunch
all
of
the Iron Mans.
Not all of them. I think the first couple, but actor, director, writer.
Yeah. So like Iron Man is like a huge franchise in Hollywood. Okay.
He made a lot of money for Marvel.
Yeah. So he just got a big job doing like some Star Wars series. Like he's gonna run a Star Wars series. And it happened to be on, like, Women's International Day. And somebody actually tweeted, on Women's International Day, this is a travesty that they would give Jon Favreau the job. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Tomorrow is International Pancake Day. Like, it's so stupid, these international days. And it's like, he got it because he's the most qualified. Because he's already run a major, like, movie franchise successfully that's about superheroes. Why the fuck would he not get the job? He's the most qualified.
Yeah.
And like we're not taking into account like you're like torturing people because they've worked their whole life to succeed.
People just want to bring other people down. That's what
it
is.
It is. And it's like even when in Dirty Sports and you talk about LeBron James, like why do people hate LeBron? It's like people hate successful people.
But I don't get that. That's what I find fascinating about the state of the world. Why do we always want to bring someone down when they've achieved something?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with the Italian kid on Villanova. It's like the dude fucking balled like 30 points, and now all we'll know about him is that at 14 years old, he tweeted rap lyrics and was like a dumb little homophobic kid, which I said the word faggot a million times at 14.
Yeah.
I didn't know better.
Exactly.
You grow up, but it's like, okay, now we're going to punish somebody because, like, they were dumb at 14, which we're all fucking dumb at 14, and we don't understand the world. Like, we're going to, like, bring that up, and his, like, big moment, we're going to be the guy that's like, hey, you did this at 14. Let me fucking, like, fuck your life up in a sense because I want to get a stupid story out. And we've become that. We look.
Well, we've turned, Matty, into this person. When I say person, I mean all of us.
Yeah.
As a whole, as a mankind, as a human race. Can you even say mankind now?
That's the thing. You're not allowed to.
As a human race, we've turned into these people that just want to tear everyone down.
Yeah.
Why do we want to tear someone down who's having a successful night playing basketball, or someone who's been successful in their movie career or musically? Why do we always want to tear people down? Why can't we embrace the good?
Sure. And another thing, too, is like, I actually wanted to do this for a thesis when I was in college because I had to do a thesis. And I was so old, I was around when Clinton, with the Monica Lewinsky. And my thesis was going to be like, why did the press pick this up? And with Kennedy, they just turned like a blind eye. Like, obviously, they knew he was pounding Marilyn Monroe and jizzing all over her. But they decided, like, we're not going to cover that. Like, they never covered that story. Like, why did it change it? Like, okay, now these are stories.
Because people will read it. That's the thing. So,
but it changed history.
I agree, but we're all part of the problem. That's the point.
Yeah.
Every time that some blowhard says something stupid,
Yeah.
they know it gets clicks. They know it gets views.
Yeah.
They know people are going to watch.
Yeah.
So that's my point, is that we're all part of the problem. Now, do I watch that shit? No. So
Yeah.
I can, for the most part, say I'm not part of the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, I mean, even you, let's be honest,
Sure.
I'm not trying to pick on you,
Yeah.
but you do hate watch the
I
Oscars.
I do, and it's sad. It is really sad.
Which then makes you part of this whole sphere.
I am part of the problem. I admit it. But like getting back to I admit I am. I don't know what else to say.
I'm not
about
trying
it.
to like be a dick
No,
to
I
you.
know. You're right. I'm the first to admit like I'll watch.
But isn't that's a huge step right there? I'm serious. You just saying, yeah, I'm part of it, and I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know I'm part of the problem too.
Yeah.
Therein lies the whole problem of the situation, is that nobody wants to fucking admit. That's my problem nowadays.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to admit when they're wrong.
No.
You know, on last Dent Report, we talked about trying to fix the public school system.
Yeah.
And the problems with teachers, and it's complicated. Just like the gun control problem is complicated. But everybody's an expert. That's what I hate. Everybody is an expert.
Yeah, we have no answers.
Nobody plays things out in their head.
No.
Nobody ever plays things out in their head.
I mean, another thing I actually got in a Facebook little fight with somebody about Ted Nugent. Because
Nugent's a nut job, by the way.
Oh, yeah. But the guy was like, this is what the guy wrote. He's like, he said these kids have no soul. Well, guess what? His music has no soul. And then I was like, and a couple people wrote this. We're like, dude, Stranglehold is one of the greatest songs. You know, like, you can't attack his music because his music has stood the test of time as, like, an amazing rock and roll guitarist. It's, like, just fucking, I'm a big classic rock guy.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't knock his music. And, like, he would, like, I'm like, and then I even wrote, because he was like, we were going back and forth. I'm like, if Justin Bieber had the politics you wanted, what is he, the greatest artist?
But that's the problem, right? I always say this. People can't separate the artist
exactly
from their political viewpoints.
Yeah.
Which I just don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to agree with everything Sean Penn says.
Yep.
I love Sean Penn in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom... Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. You know,
but Cruise is the same thing. Tom Cruise is a nut job.
He's a Scientologist.
But he's a great actor.
Yeah. Like, why is that so difficult to separate those?
But it's just so funny. Like, even when Louis C.K. got caught, people are like, I always knew he wasn't funny. I'm like, how does that have to do with anything with his comedy?
He's brilliant. He's
He's a great comedian. If he doesn't get caught with that article, he goes on Stephen Colbert, who I think is the biggest phony in the world, and they fucking laugh and have a great time. And, like, you know, they just do their thing, you know?
What's your issue with Stephen Colbert?
I just find it to be this woke, overly woke, you know.
What do you mean when you say overly woke?
I also felt like he was a big phony with the whole, sorry. Somebody whispering to me?
You think he's a phony with what?
With the whole Louis C.K. thing. Because Louis C.K. was supposed to go on the show the day that the story broke.
Okay.
And
then
he tweeted out, like, he was like, you know, maybe you shouldn't masturbate in front of women. Like, you know, it was, like, really condescending when he got caught.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you knew the rumors, dude. Do you think Stephen Colbert didn't hear anything about Louis C.K. masturbating in front of girls?
I agree. We all do.
Of course you knew the rumors.
All of us in the comedy world knew.
And now that it can't, it's like, if it didn't come out, you're sitting there laughing with him saying he's the greatest comedian. And now all of a sudden he's like the fucking, you know, he's the boogeyman.
So he's a hypocrite.
Complete fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Like, at least be like, look, man, I didn't know, or like, you know, or like, it's a shame, you know, but like, you know, like attacking him when like he's about to be on your show and you're gonna joke with him the whole time and stuff. He just seems like a big, like, that typical, like, also like, Fallon's ratings dipped because he had Trump on and he just had fun with him, you know.
Fallon was Fallon.
Yeah. And his ratings actually dipped because of that. And Colbert is now like, well, I'm going to be the anti-Trump guy. As Kimmel, too, which
By the way, I don't understand the whole sphere of late night TV anymore. And I don't watch it.
It's
and
ridiculous.
But no, this is what I don't understand. When did late night TV turn political? Because
everything is political now.
But that's the fucking problem. That is the
problem.
problem.
Sports is political.
But see, that is the problem. You know, the whole point of watching a late night talk show was for jokes, some fun
relax.
celebrity interviews. Exactly. Relax.
It's to relax.
I don't want to watch a late night talk show to hear a host go on a rant about gun control.
Or like, some Republican senator says something dumb, and then it's like, you dumb inbred hick, whatever, and you're like, no, I just want to see like fucking Bradley Cooper, tell a funny story and push his new movie. Like, or like, fucking the security guard go to like an event and ask dumb questions.
I had Conan on last week. I've always been a big Conan fan.
Yeah.
And I don't watch it enough, but it seemed like Conan was still Conan. You know what I'm saying?
I think he realizes, and I think there's something like
being on, I think being on TBS is great for him.
Yeah, well, I think
he flies under the radar.
Sure, and I think he realizes too, like, do I want to go there? Do I want to be the guy that, like, like the funny thing about Jimmy Kimmel is like everybody now is like, weren't you the dude where? And I'm guilty of watching this because I do like skirts. I used to like watching girls on trampolines. Like, you're the guy that used to have girls and little panties. You don't remember that?
Of course.
Yeah, you're the dude. You were the man show. Like, what happened? You, like, all of a sudden, you're like...
Well, look, I'm going to defend Kimmel for a minute. You
Okay.
change, you evolve as a person. And for the most part, I do like Kimmel.
Yeah.
I do. I don't like when Kimmel gets, uber political.
Sure.
Because for me, as a host of a talk show, I wouldn't go that way.
Yep.
But again, for the most part, I've liked Kimmel's career. I've supported him.
I think he's hysterical.
I think he's yeah, exactly. I think
it's kind of a bummer.
But you are right. You do change, or I should say, you do change. You do evolve as a person.
Yeah.
But you also can't forget your past. Like, just own it.
He's never brought it up. Like, I used to be the guy. I was the man show where it was like, men should do this and then women should cook and I mean, that was the show.
Can you imagine, by the way? This is so funny thinking about it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in 2018 if they came out with a show called The Man Show? It'd be like the Trans Man Show.
Yeah. I mean, I just think about, like, I show Miss Yukon clips of Married with Children, and he was a shoe salesman, Al Bundy. It was my favorite sitcom of all time, and, like, a big fat girl would come in.
You've always loved talking about this.
I love this because the people cheered. She'd be like, this, what size should I recommend?
But
like,
let me ask
Wyoming.
this, though.
And then the people go, yeah.
But do we sound like the old guys who are not ready to adapt to change when you say that? I'm just posing this as a question.
Yeah.
When you say, "Oh, it's not like the old Married with Children," do you sound like the old guy who isn't ready for change, though?
I don't know, because like there's a band that I'm like totally indifferent to. Remember In Excess?
Yeah.
About 4 months ago, one of the members, like, the singer died, but one of the members was like, I miss the old good old days where you can just pinch a girl on the butt and, like, she thought it was, like, flattering.
Yeah.
And of course, like, Twitter had it up like,
sure,
we're gonna destroy this fucking guy. And sure, you should evolve. I mean, that's kind of dumb to say.
Because it's dumb to say. It's dumb for him to say. We should evolve. We should care. Look, at the end of the day, we should care about people more. We should care about others. And again, to me, that crosses all sphere of race, gender, sexuality, whatever it is. We should be more thoughtful and appreciative of people, for sure. But we also should not be so quick to put people in a box, and that's the problem. You can't. It's tough to have both ways.
I mean, and the Man Show is just like silly entertainment. Like, now, it would take a life of, like, what the New York Times would write an article how, like, it's destroying our society. But it's like, no, it's just guys being silly, kind of complaining about girls and just, like, being silly about the whole situation. Even, like, it's a lot of making fun of themselves, too, for being men. We drink and we eat bad food and we're disgusting. But now fun and humor has taken on a life of, like, well, it has to now be analyzed as, like, detrimental towards society, and that's what I have a problem with.
Sure.
So, like, the evolving is cool, but, like, we're also, like, taking humor that was, like, meant to be lighthearted and silly, and now we're like, analyzing it to death. Like, the New York Times, which is really sad, when they do all the comedy reviewers are females, and they just find like I saw the Ricky Gervais review, and it just went on. The
What
only
did it
thing they
say?
cared about was he had a joke about like Caitlyn Jenner or something. So it's just like he's a transphobe and his time is done, and like
There it
that's
is again.
all they focus.
There it is again, labeling. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That's the irony, is that you consider yourself open-minded and woke, as you like to say,
Yeah.
but no, you're the one labeling
But
someone.
you're also focusing on they're only reviewing people that say things like that just to like try to take them down and then like push their PC narrative. So they're not even reviewing Ricky Gervais as a comedian.
And
They're just like,
I haven't watched that,
Yeah.
especially yet, and I'm
Yeah.
going to, but especially with comedy. Comedy's not PC.
no.
Comedy is pushing the boundaries to usually actually make a social commentary.
Yeah.
There's a silver lining through all that.
Well, it's even like when people were up in arms about Chris Rock because he made the joke like he wanted to see more white parents cry, with dead white kids and stuff. That's a little rough, but I'm gonna defend him and be like he's a comedian,
Yeah.
and he pushes the boundaries of what that's his job, and he shouldn't be held like a politician. It's just like, okay, he's a comedian that has
Sure.
a lot of crazy shit to say that he wants to say, and it's just like review him for how did he make you laugh. Did he make you laugh and think? And did you have a good time watching it?
But people don't go into these things with an open mind. That's
No.
the problem. Like if I'm going to watch something,
Yeah.
I usually go in with an open mind. I can honestly say. And
Sure.
it doesn't matter whether it's a comedy special,
Yeah.
a movie, a TV show, documentary,
Yeah.
you name it. I try to just – there's no point in me putting something on if I'm not wanting to enjoy it.
Yeah. And the thing is now, like, everything has to be, like, labeled as, like, a black movie, a white movie, a this, or that. Like, I remember, like, years ago, I loved the movie Booty Call. You remember
It's a
that?
great movie.
With Jamie Foxx. I just
Jamie
saw it as
Foxx, Tommy Davidson, Vivica
Yeah.
A. Fox. That is actually a classic.
and the Bernie Mac for the 30 seconds he's into it stole the movie.
Dude, when they go into the don't call me Pakistani.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember that scene?
Oh, hysterical.
It's a classic movie.
It's politically incorrect. It's so politically incorrect. Bill Cosby was mad about the movie.
yeah.
Who had his own problems. Talk about a hypocrite. But like I watched that, I've seen that movie 100 times, but I've never like been like, oh, that's a black movie. I'm like, Jamie Foxx and Tommy Davidson are fucking hysterical. It's a funny ass movie. It's about getting laid. It's just like a fun fucking movie. But I've never like seen it as like, oh well, this is this movie, and it's a funny ass movie. I love The Hangover too. Like, but now everything is like labeled to like, this has to be this, and you have to like it because of this and this and this.
I'm
And it's
glad
just
you
like,
reminded me, Matty. I want to watch Booty Call again.
oh,
It's been
so
a minute.
good.
Buns.
Yeah.
What a great name.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is so funny in that.
Yeah. But Tommy Davis is great too because he plays the straight guy, and I loved him on In Living Color, and he always was like so physical because he's got this weird skinny body
Yeah.
that can do weird shit, and he was just so funny as like the kind of nerdy guy trying to get laid,
He was on my flight last year.
Yeah.
I talked about that on Dirty Sports because it was funny when we landed in Cincinnati. We were going from L.A. to Cincinnati.
He was on the road, or
Yeah, he was doing shows in I looked it up because I was curious. He was doing
Sure.
shows in Kentucky.
oh,
And as we walked through the airport, no white people recognized him, but every black person did,
dude, he's a legend.
which I thought was hilarious.
I used to love. Remember the waiter sketch?
Of course.
Oh, so good. Like he's so talented, and it's hard to be with like fucking Jim Carrey and some of the other guys. David Allen Greer I used to love.
Dude, Living Color was the shit.
One of the best shows ever. Oh, so I used to watch it every week.
So good, right?
Yeah. I used to love Men on Film. Like when the guy became straight was one of the greatest moments ever. Remember he got hit in the head,
Yeah.
and then they did the whole one where he was straight. That was great.
Yeah, man. It was a classic show.
Never could be done now. But my point is
I don't
like,
know about that though.
but also like I
I
watched
don't know.
it.
I don't know about that
But
though.
when we watched it, we never like saw it as like this is a black show. We're just like this is a fucking funny ass motherfucking show. Like these guys are so like every guy was so funny. Every girl on it was funny too. But
yeah.
but nowadays it's like Like Wonder Woman is another thing. Like when I was a kid, I was like, okay, cool, it's a woman superhero. And then they make a movie and they're like, this is so liberating and amazing. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? It's just a girl in her underwear, like, solving crime. Like, when did this become like this political statement?
Yeah.
Like these are just like silly entertainment, I'm not a superhero person, so it's like it's like, when did this like become this like, I get for my niece who's 11, like it's cool that there's a woman superhero, but when did this become like the most empowering thing ever?
But you know why?
It's just clickbait bullshit.
It's all social media related.
Yeah.
Because pre-social media, you didn't have this many opinions just being spewed out into the universe. That's what people have to remember.
Yeah.
So social media comes along, and suddenly you have Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat. And now you have millions upon millions, billions of opinions just getting, thrown out into the universe.
Like,
and it turns into groupthink.
I know, and the thing is too is like we can have like 20 friends, and you can have a weird opinion that 19 of your friends don't agree with, but I guarantee there's gonna be somebody on Twitter that has your opinion, and then you guys kind of build something.
But that's what I'm saying. Then it turns into groupthink, and then you only think about someone similar to you. You don't try to expand outside the box.
You keep pushing it, and then you're like, wow, I have like this little community, and it's like, well.
And see, that's why I'm all for having discussions with people you don't agree with. I had a very lengthy discussion. It was probably a 45-minute discussion.
Yeah.
Recently at a comedy show with a comic who was a huge Hillary supporter. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this.
Was it a man or a woman?
It was a black male comic.
Okay. And
we were basically debating how life has changed under Trump. And he was saying, I'm open to hear it because he's a black guy.
Yep.
And he was basically saying, he feels more racist have come out under Trump. And I agree. I'm not going to disagree with that. That people have been more vocal with their racism.
They're more open.
Yes. I'd agree with him. But we got in a huge argument, which I just thought was funny.
Sure.
Over Hillary. And he was such a Hillary supporter.
What does he like about Hillary besides, like, I can say, like, hey, like, Trump's a moron, and it's like the less of two evils, so therefore Hillary wins.
No, he just was a big supporter, and at the end of the day, no one changed either's opinion.
No.
But what I can appreciate
a good discussion
was that him and I are on such polar spheres on this, where I'm laughing. I went at him hard. I go, bro.
Sure.
I went at him hard. One of my favorite things to diss about Hillary is when she said she keeps hot sauce in her purse, which was the most pandering thing ever to black people for the black vote.
Yeah.
And I told him, I go, dude, you're a black dude.
Yeah.
You think this white woman who is highly educated keeps hot sauce in her purse? And he genuinely believed that. I go, dude, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, she is a professional. A politician is like a profession.
She doesn't even drive.
It's how we talk about like comics or actors networking their way up. She's a networker. She's great at her job.
Her whole marriage is a business relationship.
Of course.
And I don't care. That's
fine.
That's what they want to do.
But she's a professional politician.
Exactly. And that was my point, Matty.
And a lot of reviews are cool and whatnot. And then there's a lot of that are like, whoa, like you don't know what she's done behind the scenes. It's real shitty.
And that was my point to him was like, dude, you're a black guy, man. You honestly think that this old white woman carries hot sauce. She carries Tapatio in her purse because at any given moment, Hillary Rodham Clinton is about to pour some hot sauce on her eggs or her rice or whatever. I was like, dude.
I don't even know how that relates to black people either. Like, what if you don't? I understand
because
there's like
black
stereotypes.
People love hot. The stereotype is that black people love hot sauce.
But that's disgusting. It's like a bad stereotype.
Walt Ruther loves hot sauce.
And he's the whitest guy in the world. He loves Chris Collinsworth.
And you know what else my dad put that on me.
Sure.
Because I love hot sauce. I don't carry it in a purse.
Who cares though? Like I like chicken. I mean to each his own. You know, I don't like any Jewish food. I hate matzah. Like who gives a shit?
So you agree with me? You don't think Hillary Clinton carries hot sauce?
I think it's complete pandering if she does that. I think it's gross. I also you got to remember she goes to colleges or places and she gets $500,000 for talking for 30 minutes. Like it's a business. She's a businesswoman.
Yes.
You know, like she's not trying to save the world. More power to her to be the first woman president. That's awesome. She got really close. But at the same time, like any other politician, she is in the business of politics. She's not in this completely to make the world a better place. It's a game.
And to bring it full circle on the whole privilege thing,
Yeah.
for as many votes as she didn't get,
Yeah.
because she's a woman, which is true,
Yeah.
for as many men out there who did not want to vote for a woman because they're sexist,
Yeah.
she got just as many votes from people who voted for her just because she was a woman.
Absolutely.
So it goes both ways.
I saw women on Facebook being like, if you don't vote for Hillary, you hate women or you never want to see a woman president. And people are like, no, I just don't like her.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the same woman, like, would you vote for Sarah Palin? No. And
Yeah.
she potentially almost could have been our vice president, and it's like, you find her a moron, but she's still a woman, like, it's very contradictory,
What we need to do is we just need to judge people on their character,
I agree.
on their intelligence, on their ability as an individual.
Sure.
Not as a black dude, a white dude, a gay dude, a Mexican dude.
I mean, it's just hard. It is like our system has been built to like I look at the idea of white privilege. There's certainly, of course, like if you're born in the wealth and like I said, if your dad went to Yale and your grandpa went to Yale, and if you're a C student, you have a great chance of getting into Yale. And that's just a weird way our society works. And you can focus on that and like be angry and shit and like throw shit at people and like turn it into a college course, or you can be like, let's take the people that are having tough times, that have tough environments, and let's focus on getting them out of those areas and getting them to George Washington, instead of like shitting on people that like have had like so-called easy lives. But again, there's a lot of white people that have had the most fucked up childhoods, the most like fucked up lives ever, that like is scary as fuck, because human nature is kind of fucked.
And to be honest, we're two white guys, and I understand that. And I would love to have, when it comes to terms like white privilege, I would love to have this discussion with someone who's not white.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important.
Sure.
Because again, we both agree. I think it's important to bring other people in and to have different viewpoints.
Yeah. Sure.
But the sad thing is, we don't live in that world. We don't live in a world where we want to have conversations and we want to just label things and put things out there, and people instantly want to assume it's because this or that. It just sucks.
Well, for us, like, we pretty much agree on a lot of politics. I think we're 80% on the same page of how we agree on things, and that's just the way we are.
I think we're at 80, Matty?
I would say 90.
Oh, you're going to go up to 90 now.
85, 90. But if, like, let's say we had a lady in here that was, like, a big Hillary supporter, and she was, like, and then they use this term, the Bernie bros. That's the thing they love to say, like, you Bernie bros are a bunch of frat guys, and that was the big thing. Do you ever hear that?
No.
You never heard Bernie bros?
No. So yeah, tell me more about this.
There are a lot of, when Hillary lost, and I saw this on Facebook, and it's just infuriating, is a lot of women who are really into Hillary, they feel like because Bernie lost, he was butthurt, and all his supporters were dudes, and they're called Bernie bros, saying they're just nothing but a bunch of like frat white guys that don't get it, the struggle to be a woman and stuff. And it was like, you Bernie bros, don't really care about, you've helped Trump out, whatever. And it's just like, we can have somebody on like that, but we'll probably disagree till the till the cows come home.
But that same person helped Trump out by quote tweeting and giving him the platform to actually run for president. Dude, that's what it all comes back to. It's like you said, or the Roseanne thing. The problem is that people, you give them that attention.
I mean, also the truth is like, Hillary did not inspire people to go out and vote. She just didn't inspire that massive, like, Democratic vote to go out and vote. She really didn't.
There's nothing in Hillary Clinton is the most uninteresting person ever. This has nothing to do with her being a female. She's just an uninteresting person. Plain and simple.
Dude.
There's nothing interesting about Hillary Clinton.
And
I would not want to have a dinner with Hillary Clinton. I would rather have a dinner.
It cost you $500,000.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's nothing interesting about her. There's just not.
I'll never forget on one of the debates, somebody who was a teacher asked a question. The first question was like, I'm a public school teacher. What do you know? And then she was like, you're a public school teacher? I commend you for the job you've done. And it was just so
She's so
phony.
fake. She's so
It was
fake.
the most phony shit I've ever seen in my life. And it was like she would like rehearse like if somebody like that in the service world asked a question, I'm going to like say this bullshit. And it just was such bad acting. It was fake. It was not real. It wasn't sincere. It wasn't like,
Well, to be fair to Hillary, as we're dissing her hard, to be fair to Hillary, most politicians are fake.
Oh, yeah. And, I commend her how close she got. She got so close to being like the first woman president. I commend her for that. She worked really hard and,
But she played
more
her
power
cards
to her.
wrong. That's why she lost.
She did. She also, like, my thing, too, I always say is, like, you fucked up with the celebrities. You fucked up. Like the common man doesn't care that you're doing a fucking show with Beyonce and Jay-Z and Lena Dunham and Madonna. Like, they see those people and they're like, well, we're just common folk and we don't, we don't relate to those famous people and those are your friends and we don't get it. So, like, when you're throwing, like, concerts of famous people and celebrities, you're hobnobbing with them, what you're doing is you're actually, like, killing your votes because they don't want to see that. They want to see, like, no, I want to help you guys out,
Are you curious for the next election?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, who's going to run?
And the funny thing is, like, about, like, the liberals right now is, like, instead of bitching about Trump, like, be mad quiet and work really hard on like getting a really great candidate and doing diligence to get people out to vote and inspiring them, and don't throw shit. Like I'm tired of these articles. I saw it the other day. It was like blah blah blah. Trump's son goes on vacation, cost taxpayers blah blah blah. Like these articles are so stupid. They're so fucking dumb. It's like you're just like wasting your fucking time, and you're just like people, like you're inspiring more Trumpers to go out and vote. Nonsense articles that make no sense, that we don't even know if are true or not, and we also don't know like what Bill Clinton spent when he goes golfing, like what that every president golfed. Obama was a golfer. He loved to golf. Enough. They golf. That's what they do. Democrats, Republicans, they fucking golf.
Well said, Matty.
Am I
agree.
right? Am I right?
I agree.
Who doesn't golf? Did Obama not golf?
They all golf. George W. Bush golf.
They fucking golf.
They all golf.
They act like when Trump golfs, it costs like the taxpayers like billions of dollars or something. Like we're going into debt because Donald Trump went to play golf, which every president does. Bill Clinton probably golfed like 5 times a week.
We should eliminate golfing, though. Let's just eliminate it from the presidency.
Look, I don't get it. I mean,
kidding.
I mean, I know the Masters. I didn't watch any of it, but like, they all like to fucking golf, and they all golf with like famous celebrities and other golfers.
You know what golf is? It's a white privilege sport.
It is. I mean, it is and it isn't, because nowadays it seems like these poor like white guys from like Alabama are like getting into golf, and then they're all kicking ass. Like they all seem like they don't come from like money. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're probably wrong on that. I don't know.
Because one was on Howard Stern, who won the Masters a few years ago, and he was talking about how he was on some circuit that like is just like 10 guys put like $1,000 down and they all play. And this is before you get to be a pro, before you get your card, and that's how you make money. And you die or be killed, and like it's like usually winner take all, and you're on this weird circuit that you do for years, and you lose a lot of money. It's like gambling.
Here's my solution to everything.
Yeah.
More reading, more smoking weed,
Yeah.
and more going on walks. Boom. I just solved everyone's anxieties. More reading, more smoking weed, and more going on walks.
And my other thing too, and I'm guilty because I hate watch stuff. And the last episode I talked about comics I was jealous about. and I'll say like, well, they had this and that, and I didn't have it, because I'm guilty of it. But like, my theory is just enjoy your life. Don't get mad at people for being successful if you don't like it, and like, if you don't like something, don't watch it.
Or be inspired. I know for me, sometimes I thrive off jealousy. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or I thrive
On
off
rejection.
yes.
Yeah.
Seeing a comic or an actor or somebody who's famous and I don't think they deserve the accolades or the fame that they've achieved.
Yeah.
That should inspire you to say, "Hey, I'm better than that person, and I'm going
Yeah.
to prove it. I'm going to work hard at whatever field I'm at." And I think that's a good way of looking at it.
Touche, man.
Well, Matty, I'm fucking starving.
Are we doing the house of pie? Are you taking me out for my birthday? For
I am.
real? And the pie too?
Let's do it all today.
Dude, you're the man. I appreciate it.
Whatever you want, it's on me.
We had a little, not really a Twitter war, but like, I said something. So
We had some text going back and forth.
yeah, we got in a little tiff, but I think that's what happens, right?
Well, I think that's what happens with friends.
Yeah. I mean, after like I got my piece out, I don't want to make it too much about it, but like I got like shit off my chest, and I might have been projecting. Like I think I was like going through birthday stuff, and like, just like sometimes your patience a little short, and I didn't deal with that when I was doing comedy on the little tour I was on. So I'm like, oh, I don't really want to deal with Andy being mad at the dogs and shit. So I was just like, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit. And then you were like, what, you fought back, and then I just like was just like, fuck you, and I was immature, and we moved past it.
And I think the good thing about that is just take a couple days off.
Yeah.
And then you move past it.
Yeah. So I apologize.
No, it's fine. You don't have to apologize, and I appreciate that. And I knew that I was gonna go to a float lab. I was gonna basically relax, clear my head, and
you wrote me a very nice letter about myself, which was really cool, and I appreciate it. It was like a great birthday gift. It was better than like a real, like it was more
better than a material gift.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, man. I meant every word that I wrote in that letter.
I appreciate it,
and it's, I think it's good. That is one thing I recommend to everybody.
And when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when I'm like frustrated, I'm like, I'll admit, like, dude.
No, and it goes both ways. And I need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I need to relax. And I think we all know that at times. I expect a lot out of you. I expect a lot out of me. I expect a lot out of everybody.
Yeah.
And I set the bar high, and I need to relax at times. But I do have one quick recommendation. With that being said, before we end the episode, is that if you have a friend, a loved one, a parent, whatever, a sibling, write them a letter for their birthday. Type them a letter, send it in the mail. People really appreciate letters, and I think it really shows how much you care about somebody.
Well, that's kind of interesting too, because when I got it, it was just after we had this little text thing, and I apologize because I always feel like we need to. I'm always one for in sports, like, keep it in house.
Yeah.
So I let a few things out on Twitter, but like I felt like I gotta keep it in house. And I was with Miss UConn. I'm like, Andy sent me a letter, and she's like, like she knew we were fighting, and I'm like, no, it's actually really, really sweet. So it was really cool.
Well, I think we also fight because
we talk a lot.
We're around each other all the time.
Yeah, and we're we work together, and
that's
business.
what friends do.
Yeah, and we're gonna fight again for sure. We're gonna disagree. Sure. There's things we once disagreed about. There was a picture of a girl doing coke, and remember the girl from Penn State?
Oh yeah.
And she wrote, like, they were like, please take it down. I was like, Andy, just take it down. You're like, no, fuck her. And
you know what's funny?
And we got in a fight.
I ended up putting that picture up like 2 more times.
It's so funny.
Just rub it in those.
See,
girls'
now I'm like, whatever. But like at the mall, I was like, she's just a dumb college girl. Like, we don't want to ruin her life and stuff. So I was like, we got in a fight then, but it was, it's we say our piece and we move on.
It's always when you catch someone at the moment, though, too. That's important for those things. Well, Dent heads, follow us on Dent Report on Twitter. Please leave us an iTunes review. Give us 5 stars. You can follow Matty here at Matty Goldberg 1.
Correct.
Buy his book.
Yeah, just hit me up. My DMs are open, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm sending out a few today. So you guys are so sweet for buying them, and I always like that nobody can read my handwriting. It's always everyone I do it different with signing. So
Yeah, your
yeah,
handwriting's it's
terrible.
worse. It's worse than mine. And follow me at Andy Ruther and subscribe to us on YouTube, all on the Dirty Sports channel. All right, Den Heads, thanks for listening and sending our love.